Hi, welcome back to another video. My name is Adrian, and today I want to give you 5 tips on setting your art goals for 2023. So if you're ready, let's get into it. All right, so first, just so you're not listening to me talk for like 15 minutes with nothing to watch, I recorded a video of me drawing a card again, for those of you who don't know, I am the illustrator for a trading card game called DX Monsters. It launched this year, beginning of 2022. It's been an amazing journey. But yeah, so right now I'm working on a card for the last booster set in season 1. So that's what's going to be playing in the background so that you're not just listening to me ramble for like 15 minutes straight with nothing to entertain you. So hopefully this will be entertaining. But while that's playing, I will be giving you those 5 tips. So now let's start with number 1, visualize. So I want to start with visualize because I think that's the most important thing when you're setting your goals. It's been the one thing that's helped me achieve some of the goals that I have accomplished over the last couple of years. Actually, man, I could probably go back further than that, but it's always about visualization because you have to know where you are going. Where do you see yourself? You know, it's one thing to just say, hey, I just want to get better. But what does that look like? Right? So I think number 1 has to be visualize. You have to know where you're going, what your goal is to be this time next year. What do you see? What is your hope? You know? So with that, be very, very clear on what that looks like for you. I mean, really get a feel it like as if you're living in it already. What do you see? Because that'll help you as the year goes by. It'll help you gauge if you're closer or not, or how far you have to go. So number 1 being visualize. All right. So number 2, which really is the counterpart to number 1, is don't be vague. Do not be vague. When you're sitting down to write your goals out, don't be vague. So if you're like me, I am determined to level up next year. And I'm not even waiting till next year, to be honest. I'm starting right now. I'm not waiting till 2023 January. I'm like, let's just start now. But I am setting my goals, my intentions for next year because I'm in a space in my life where I want to see myself on another level, on a level I haven't been on yet. And I know that's going to require work. So I am setting my goals. I've already visualized what that looks like for me. And I'm setting, and again, being specific. But while I'm setting these goals or these intentions, I'm being very clear about what it is I see, right? What does it look like? And for some of you, maybe you want to get an art job, or maybe you want to post 100 TikTok videos or 100 Instagram videos, or, maybe you want to start a business. That was my goal for 2021. And me and my partner started that process, and that goal came true. It came to life. Now we own a business, Level Up Lemon, leveluplemon.com. We do tabletop games. Our first product was the trading card game, DX Monsters. We were working on this game for years, a couple of years, 3 years, and it came to life. And that started with visualizing, setting a goal, being very specific of what we saw, and once you have that, you have a roadmap to follow. So again, be specific while you're setting your goals. Number 3, define your milestones. So we have 12 months, what are the milestones you're seeing throughout those 12 months that helps you see if you're getting closer or not. right? So if you are setting these goals, how do you know if you're actually reaching them? How do you know you're closer? How do you know if you're even in the, ballpark of where you said you wanted to be, in the coming year? Milestones. What are you seeing to help you? And I would say visual or tangible milestones. So for example, for me, I am again determined, so determined to put so much more effort at, like I love this saying that if you want something different, you have to do something different. So I am filling as many sketchbooks as I can this year. Now my goal is 20 sketchbooks. That is insane, right? For those people, for people like me who I don't really fill sketchbooks, right? And I know I'm not alone. I know there's more out here, out there listening to me right now. And you're like, Adrian, I'm one of those. I don't fill sketchbooks. I get about halfway through it and it's on my shelf for the next 6 months, right? I work on projects. Projects have been my vehicle of how I've improved. So I've always had a project that just helps me. It's always been because again, for me, I've worked on comics, graphic novels, and now a trading card game. So working on these projects require me to draw things that I don't normally draw. Environments, characters, character acting, creatures, props. Like there's so much that goes into drawing for a project that you by default grow, right? So projects are great vehicles for milestones because the milestones are built into it. Like you get to see how far you are from your goal because are you closer to completion or not? So maybe a project is suits you for this coming year. But yeah, so projects worked for me, but now I am turning my attention to sketchbooks and I want to fill as many sketchbooks as I can. And I have defined, again, what that looks like for me. And I encourage you to define what that looks like for you for whatever, your milestone will be. So moving on to number 4. Better to aim high than too low. That is a big one. I know a lot of times with goals, we, sometimes, don't aim too high because you're like, but what if I don't reach it? And, so I'm just going to, aim, I'm just going to just do this. That's my goal. It's just to do this. And I think I'm always I'm the person that's like, no, aim high, aim ridiculously high. Like go like, and again, and I'll tell you why, I say this because here's a bonus tip that I think is partnered with better to aim too high than too low is don't be discouraged if you don't hit your goal. I think sometimes, and that's why I say like, what is your intention? What's your reason for this goal? Like, why do you want this to happen? Why? Well, like, what's the point of you doing the thing you say you want to do? Because if you've already defined your reasons and why you're doing the thing you say you want to do, then the closer you get, the better, right? Like let's say I decided, hey, I'm going to fill 100 sketchbooks. Now, that's insane, but what if I actually filled 80? Who cares if I didn't finish the 100? I finished 80 sketchbooks. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's better just to aim high. Don't be afraid of failing. Don't be afraid of, and I don't even think that's really failing, honestly, if you don't reach your goal. I think the point of setting a goal and setting your intention of what you want to accomplish is to get as close as possible. Because if you put focused effort, you will grow. You will grow. You will get closer to where you want to be versus you feeling defeated because you didn't finish, or maybe 2 months in or 3 months in, maybe by March, you're like, I haven't been able to do, like, life has happened and this thing has pulled my attention and that's pulled my attention. I haven't been. Well, just start in April and get as close as you can. Like, I think sometimes when we set goals, we put too much pressure on ourselves to finish and accomplish the goal. It's like, no, to me, when I set a goal, the point is to get as close as possible. To get as close as possible. Because even if I finish 5 sketchbooks, that's more sketchbooks than I've finished in the last 10 years. You know what I mean? So it's like, it would still be a great accomplishment. So I think that's just something to keep in mind, that when you're setting your goals, don't be afraid of not hitting them, not achieving them, not like, and say, for example, your goal is to get an art job, and you do the work, you, again, reverse engineer of, okay, I want to get an art job, so I need to build a portfolio for that art job. Even if you don't get the art job, at least you have put effort and energy into building a portfolio that is better than you've had probably previously. If you put focused attention into it, you're going to get better, you're going to grow, and you're going to be better than where you were a year prior. So don't be discouraged if you don't reach the goal. Just, it's fine. It's fine. This should be fun. This should be a part of our passion. This is, if art is what you love, it should always be fun. It should always be a place of joy, right? At least in my mind, that's how I operate. So I don't want your goals to get you down if you don't accomplish them. It's okay. Just get as close as you can. So that's why I say aim high. Aim for the stars, because the closer you get, man, what an accomplishment. So I would say, remember that, because it's just helped me. Again, everybody's different. So if you are somebody who's like, no, I'm the kind of person who I set a small enough goal that I can actually reach it, then that's fine too. Like, everybody's different. I don't think there's a one way to do this. I just think just setting the intention, setting the goal, that's the point. That's the important part, right? How you set it, like whether it's a short term, whatever. Again, I'm a big fan of, do what's best for you. All I'm saying is just don't be discouraged, if you don't hit it, right? So moving on to number 5, I think one of the most important tips I can give is write it down. Write it down. Write your goals down. Again, and not just the goal of, I want to get better. Write everything you intend to do to make that happen. So say, for example, I want to finish a sketchbook for every 2 weeks. That is my goal, right? Well, what does that look like? How many pages do I need to do a day to reach that goal? Do I need to set my reference images in the beginning of the week, so that way I'm not spending my hour or 2 hours, a part of that finding images? Like, what does that look like? Like, set a plan. Like, how do you intend to reach that milestone or the overall goal, right? So again, if I'm finishing a sketchbook, what does that look like? How many pages? What topic am I doing for that sketchbook? Or what topics? Is it 2 topics, 3 topics? Or am I just, just drawing, just practicing from my imagination? Like, define it, so that way you are clear on what you're doing, so that way you can actually see the milestones, and that way, therefore, you can actually see if you're getting closer as we get closer to November and then December 2023. But write it down, because that way, this time next year, you would be amazed at, like, reading some of the things you've said. Like, for me, I've written things down. Year passes, sometimes 2 years passes, and I go back to that thing that I wrote down, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Like, that actually happened. I actually did this thing. in the moment when I wrote it, it seemed almost impossible, but I dared to believe, dared to write it down, and it happened. And it's such an amazing feeling. And again, there are things on that list that I didn't do, you know, but again, in some cases I was glad, because that wasn't really some of those goals that I set. I didn't really care about those anyways. You know what I mean? And I didn't know that in the moment. In the moment, it was the most important thing, you know. But it's amazing to see how much you grow as a person, how much you grow as an artist, how much you grow in discipline and determination. When you see like, man, I really put the effort in, you know, and it just gives you momentum for the next year. It builds momentum, you know. But yeah, so write it down. I really encourage you to write your goals down, and then revisit them. Definitely revisit them this time next year. So, but yeah, so those are the 5 tips that I have. Hopefully they were helpful. Hopefully this video was entertaining. If you are still with me, still listening, still watching, thank you for, you know, staying this long, listening to these five tips. I really do hope they help. I hope they make sense. And again, if they don't work for you, everybody's different. So like, you know, as long as you're writing your goals or writing your intentions, like, and being able to track, having some way to determine how far you've gotten, I think that's the most important thing. But I think overall, just have fun. Don't let goals stress you out. You know, again, that's why I say it's not about completing the goal. It's about getting as close as possible. So don't be afraid to aim high. But yeah, so with that said, I will be, again, going on this sketchbook journey. If any of you are interested in me doing some of that live and sketching live, and we sketch together maybe, or, you know, I don't know, like, I'm curious to see if you all are interested in seeing me draw my sketchbook and us draw together. Let's go on our journey together. And if you already know your goal for the coming year, write it down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys want to accomplish, you know, next year. And if you don't know what your goal is yet, write in the comments, I don't know yet. But either way, let me know what your goals are. Have you set them yet? Or have you even started thinking about them yet for next year? But yeah, so also, again, if you are interested in me streaming live here on YouTube, just let me know. I'd be interested to see if you want to see any of that process, or I could just do a video and flip through where I'm at, because again, I want to do this together. Let's reach our goals together. For those of you who are serious about that next step, let's do this together. Let's grow. Let's go to our next level and let's kill it. So if you haven't done so already, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. And until next time, keep drawing.